Breaking news. A wedge is opening up in Iran's resistance to Israel. Over the conflict in Gaza, the so-called axis of resistance is starting to show its weaknesses. In a loose coalition known as the Axis of Resistance, you can find terrorist groups like Islamic Jihad and Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Houthi rebels in Yemen, Shia militias in Iraq, and even Iran and Syria. Iran is the Axis's primary mover. Destroying Israel and ending Western and American military influence in the Middle East are their primary goals. However, the Iranian mullahs may have made a huge strategic error in their handling of the Gaza conflict between Hamas and Israel. The Quds Force, an offshoot of the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, the theocratic regime's Gestapo, has been providing Hamas with weapons, personnel, and training for quite some time. There may not be concrete evidence that Tehran was aware of the impending Hamas terrorist attack on Israel on October 7, but their complicity is undeniable. Hamas has been able to develop its own weapons thanks to the hundreds of millions of dollars that the mullahs provide each year. The smuggling of Iranian rockets, anti-tank missiles, and other advanced weaponry into Gaza from Egypt and ships docking at Gaza's ports has been on the rise in recent years. However, Tehran's militant zeal has noticeably waned since they initially backed the Hamas invasion of Israel. As a matter of fact, Reuters stated on Wednesday that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, had informed Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh that Tehran would not support the Palestinian group in a war with Israel. The Iranian regime's Quds Force commander, Esmail Qani, had to retract his statement and write a letter to Mohammad Deif, the supreme military commander of Hamas, because the group saw this as a betrayal. According to the letter, which was widely reported in Iran's state news agency IRNA, Qani stated, "Your brothers in the resistance axis stand united with you and will not allow the enemy to reach its dirty goals in Gaza and Palestine," denying that the theocratic regime would withhold its support for the combat. "Whatever it takes to win this historic battle, we will do it because of the fraternal vow that binds us together." The extent to which the United States backs Israel has stunned Tehran, despite Qani's aggressive rhetoric. After President Joe Biden and U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited Tel Aviv to express America's unwavering support for Israel, a fleet of ships, including the enormous USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier with over 2,000 Marines on board, was sent to the Gulf. While the primary goal of stationing the U.S. fleet was to discourage Hezbollah from launching a second front against Israel and thus joining the war, the message certainly reached Tehran, where the possibility of a more intense confrontation was unanticipated. The main goal of Tehran has always been to harm Israel and undermine the Abraham Accords, which a number of countries, including Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, the UAE, Morocco, and others, signed in an effort to normalize relations and reconcile with Israel. The Arab Summit in Riyadh on November 11 condemned Israeli aggression on the Gaza Strip, war crimes and barbaric and inhumane massacres by the occupation government, but the mullahs were shocked to hear that they still planned to seek reconciliation with Israel once the Gaza war ended.